Could you speak about the place of knowledge, knowledge creation, and knowledge transfer in dismantling racism in the sector? Maybe practical ways of how that could take place more efficiently.
So I can start off. This actually speaks to an example of an organization that I think is doing it well. It's an organization founded by a lady, Shari Davis. It's the Participatory Budgeting Project. And what they do is really focus on, well, first of all, their model is quite interesting. She's on a mission that within the next 5 years, that her organization will be completely self-funded. And so the process of weaning themselves off, chasing grants or having a censorship around the work that they're doing is very fascinating. And they've been very successful so far in raising money. They're based in South Africa. And so she's been really, she's an Obama fellow, and she's really been challenging this new model of funding that eliminates philanthropy in so many different ways. So that's one. She also has been really instrumental in working with people. I don't want to use the word locally. So Valerie, thank you for putting that in my brain, because now right now I'm like, oh, how do I actually even say this? Not locally, like people around in the community, people from her community, on how they have a critical role in playing when it comes to their own government's budgets, as well as their own engagement in civics, their own engagement and their ability to hold other entities, other elements accountable when it comes to the work that they're doing, whether it meets the goals of the larger community at large or not. So it's an interesting model that I have seen that has been, to me, a way of challenging the system, the way Lauriane said, where it's a Black woman who created her own organization and is allowing the people in the community to demand and push for what they want to see of organizations that are coming to do work in their community. And I think that's a very fascinating model that could be replicated in so many different areas. And to be able to do it so far with the mission and the goal of identifying alternate revenue streams so that they can be self-sufficient is amazing. I think that, coupled with the ability to grow Black philanthropy or Black giving, is another aspect of that we haven't really talked about. When we were working, while I was at Act for Accountability, we had a pilot project that we created called Diaspora Rise Up. And the mission was solely to raise money from our own communities in support of unrestricted funding that would go towards organizations, NGOs in different communities to be able to meet their needs. And that we were committing that, if you received funding from us, it wasn't a 1-year grant cycle, it was 2 years we were committing to you. Because we understand that the work most of the time, doesn't get done in a year. And we had success with that. We were able to fund 5 organizations with just raising money locally from the US side, to be able to give unrestricted funds. And I still keep in touch with some of those organizations. And especially now during COVID, a lot of them were health leaning. We see the impact of the investments that we made in these organizations for them to be able to do the work that they're doing right now, and for them to be able to then attract additional funding, which is coming from within their communities. So, I think there are different ways, but those are 2 solid examples of where I've seen personally the work that we did, but I've also seen somebody else taking a step and actually engage in the community at large for them to be able to challenge racism through the way people are doing work or through organizations that are coming to their community, and also how the measures and the impact that they're leaving behind. So knowledge transfer can come through there. it can come through any of those elements and those areas.